Can you guys hear me? Anyone? For some reason, hey, Nikki. Nick, can you hear me? I'm having some technical difficulties this morning. Okay, perfect. Good morning. How is everybody's? Hi, Margie. Good to see you. Thank you. Awesome. I don't know what's going on. My speakers aren't working. My beats, nothing's working this morning, kids. Zero things. Hey, Kimmy. How was everybody's holiday? I hope we all had some. There's been a lot going on, kids. There's been a lot going on over the holidays, probably both personally and not. There's a lot going on. There's a lot happening. Holy moly. Yeah, Kimmy, it's good to see you. Actually, Nikki found something that we're going to listen to today about JonBenet Ramsey through, they have a YouTube channel, True Crime Garage TV. If you guys want to go over there and give them a sub. I'm using this, with fair use. Fair use disclaimer is in the description. So we're going to be going over this. Apparently, there's some shit going down in Boulder, Colorado that we need to go over. Okay. There's some shit in Boulder, Colorado that we need to go over, that there's like trafficking of little kids and shit. So we're going to go over that. Yes. Oh, the first episode has a few cases. Okay, we'll find it. I like to blind react to things a lot of times, like instead of like kind of like dissecting it first. Some things I do, depending on the case, but this should be interesting. Thank you, Mama. Yes. So how was everybody's holiday? Did everybody have a nice, relaxing time with their chosen family? It's a slow start. Okay. I wonder if they don't even have. For a second, I don't know where it would start. I probably should have looked at that. Oh, hey, Bakings! It's good to see you, baby. Good to see you. I'm happy you're here. It goes through a few. Perfect. I know I saw that there's 3 episodes regarding to this, so we have content for a couple weeks here. No, you have to play from the beginning. Okay, perfect. We will. Yes, Makings, Drew, it's good to see you. Happy. I saw you weren't feeling good either. Everybody's been sick. I don't know what's been going around lately, but literally everybody I know is sick, and their grandmother. Everybody. My nose won't stop running. My poor kid. You were sick. Because it kind of goes from one case of how. Oh, okay. So we're linking Kate. Nikki, producer of the year. Okay. All right, let's get into this. So the past couple of Sundays, we have been going over the JonBenet Ramsey case. This was probably 27 or 28 years ago. The little girl was found in her Boulder, Colorado home in the basement. It's been unsolved all this time. Okay. Her father is some hoity-toity bank person, right? Her mother was a stage mom. She was in beauty pageants, the flipper and the whole. No, Nick, no, not at all. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I've always thought it was her brother. I just always have. I just thought he was a weirdo and he was the easiest person to blame it on, right? But this could be very telling. I'm willing. I have my mind is open, and I'm willing to hear all sides. There's people in the chat that think that it's not Burke. They're welcome to their opinion. It's been seizure. Oh, honey, that's gotta be really tough. That's really hard. Seizure meds are no joke, too. Like, very, very, very strong. Well, I got fired. Kim, you're never fired, ever. You guys are my A1 day ones. Yeah, so we're going with JonBenet Ramsey. If you guys want to go check these episodes out on your own, they're at True Crime Garage TV. Nikki put the link to the episode in the chat, and there's 3 different ones. So we're gonna go over this one. Oh yeah, OGs forever. That we're the last men standing, and we're together for a reason. So we're gonna go over this, and then there's 3 more that we can go over as well. This is crazy. It's on Spotify also. Thank you, Nikki. I think that's where you were listening to it, right? Yeah, right. Okay, so I've always thought that it was Burke because he's weirdo, right? And I was just like, well, maybe he was just like looking for attention and turned into Sybil, right? But she was also a pageant girl at that age, very sexualized as a child, and you don't know who goes to those fucking to those pageants and stuff. I believe there was someone in chat saying that she actually had stalkers that like wanted to skin her and wear her. So that's not far-fetched either. I always thought it was a brother, but and then a part of me is like, well, if it was the brother, wouldn't they have like found evidence by now? Although there was a botched investigation, much like Norfolk County, Massachusetts conducts, or OJ, right? The OJ trial, same shit. Yeah, right. Kind of like Summer Wells. You know, the Summer Wells story. My humble opinion about Summer Wells is that her mom was on some shit and needed money fast. And Tennessee has a huge child trafficking situation down there. And I always thought that because there was no sign of her that she was sold into something. But who am I? I don't know. But that's just always been my right. Exactly. Oh, hi, Colleen. Good to see you, Mama. Yeah, Summer Wells, definitely. There's no way a little girl got away from rural Tennessee like that with no trace without her being picked up and put her somewhere else and taken somewhere. You'll never convince me otherwise. Never. Never. Yeah, right. Nikki too. Yep. Summer Wells, that poor, and you know too. I don't even think Don's a creep, but I don't even think he has anything to do with it. I think it was the mother and the grandmother. You know, God. All right, guys. If you guys can make sure you like the video, gets out to more people. I always feel weird saying that. Like and subscribe. I usually have Caden do it, but I'm trying to make him not be on camera anymore because of all the fucking craziness that's going on the interweb. All right. I'm going to share my screen. Let me know if you have any feedback because I don't have my beats in today. I don't know why they're not connecting. I think they're dead, to be honest with you. But ruh-roh. Hold on. Ooh, that's a little close. There we go. All right. I do have to stop for fair use. Oh, hey, Jay Warren. It's good to see you, honey. I was in Amber's chat last night and missed you there. All right. So this is essentially, let me read you what True Crime Garage has to say about this. This is part 1 of 3. JonBenet Ramsey was murdered in late 1996. Her body was discovered in the basement of the Ramsey family home, December 26th of 1996. But now, here we are almost 27 years later, and this murder remains unsolved. Why? That is what we'll be exploring this week. So they have like a whole bunch of episodes kind of going down the rabbit hole of why they think that this is not solved. This was not the perfect murder. After what you'll hear this week, you might agree that Boulder is not the perfect town. This week, we promise some in-depth insider information about the perfect people from the perfect town of Boulder. Oh, I am all in this. I am in this to win it, kids. Let me know if you guys can hear it, okay? Yeah, trigger warning. Thanks, baby. All right. Let's get this going.
devised our own theory about the case. We called it the sex ring theory. But maybe we're involved in something which put their daughter in harm's way, and led to looked into. We started finding out that there were all these cases, and we were getting bits of information about things that not many people knew about, and involving child sexual abuse. So for us, it became bigger than the JonBenet Ramsey case, and we call it the Boulder syndrome. We use the word over and over, and that's how we view Boulder. That they have had a pedophile problem in that town for decades.
Yeah, so it's always been painted, Boulder, as this perfect.
Else know that Boulder was a place of pedophilia? Because the only thing I've ever heard about Boulder, Colorado is that, I know it's a little glitchy. I don't know what's going on here, kids. I have to open up. Actually, let me do this now. Oh, we're professionals here, kids. Did anybody? Jay, I had not heard that. The only thing I've ever heard about Boulder, Colorado is that it's like where all the rich people live. But that tracks if you look at like Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and all of them. They're high society, rich people. Nikki. The high society, rich people who prey on kids, right? So is that really far-fetched? No, not anymore. But I never heard that before. Hi, Crafty Chris. Good to see you, Mama. Let's keep going. You guys go over and sub to True Crime Garage TV.
And that's what I found so amazing. Some of the cases that you guys pointed out to me, we have Lauren Schiller's book, and I think it's a fantastic book. It chronicles a lot of the events and the movements about this case early on. Perfect Murder, Perfect Town, JonBenet and the city of Boulder. But as you guys quickly pointed out to me, not so fast there, Nick, this is not the perfect town, and here's why. So let's take the listeners through some of the child sex, some of the grosser, more disturbing things that were going on in Boulder, starting with the Slusher case.
The Slusher case, this was a case that started out early on in Hunter's career. So Alex Hunter, the district attorney, who at the time of the Ramsey murder, he was elected into office around 1972. And this case happened in 1977. You had a man, the name of Floyd David Slusher.
Oh, I'm writing this down,
arrested in 1977 for molesting Boy Scouts.
Ew.
And we found out about this case when the Boy Scouts released their files about pedophiles who had worked for their organization. And we pretty much, when they did that, we pretty much guaranteed that we'll definitely find a Boulder connection. And we found Floyd David Slusher. So he arrested in 77. He was convicted on one count of sexual assault on a minor, and he was sentenced 1 day to life, which I had never heard of before, and he served about 6 years.
Only 6 years.
Now, as we started digging in.
Can I just get on my soapbox about this? Can we start penalizing people? Can we start penalizing kid touchers for more than just a slap on the wrist? Can we do that? Can we start there? Humanity for children. Okay, it's like children don't matter at all. They're disposable. There was reports or evidence that Brody pushed children when he really. I don't know. I've never heard that. I don't think he went to the pageants. I think that was like mom and daughter thing. I don't think that he was a part of that. And that partially made me think that he was to blame because he wasn't getting attention. He was a little odd. He wasn't like a cute little girl doing pageants, and he was jealous. Jealousy makes you do a whole shit ton of things that you probably shouldn't do, right? I don't know. All right, let's keep going.
To Mr. Slusher, we found the investigating officer's notes. This was an Officer Dutrow of the sheriff's office, the Boulder County Sheriff's Office. And the things he wrote about Slusher were incredible.
Mm-hmm.
For example, this is a quote from the handwritten notes of that 77 case. Dutrow stated that he, quote, learned of many victims too numerous to interview. So right there, that gives you pause. What do you mean that they were too numerous to interview? You didn't interview everybody? There were so many you stopped?
Why isn't everyone being
Number
interviewed?
one. And Dutrow also stated that Slusher sexually approached every Boy Scout troop in Troop 75 and Troop 73, and that Slusher chose victims outside of scouting as well.
What?
It is evident, however, that Slusher, through his sexual assaults on young boys, has affected many young lives.
That is tragic.
The distressing part of it was when Dutrow stated parents of one of the
100%.
victims may have been directly promoting a relationship between their son and the suspect.
Wait.
That
Hold on.
is.
Hold on, kids. I have to stop and stuff because I can't get dinged again. Did he just say that the parents were encouraging this? Did I hear that correctly? Are my ears on? Did you guys hear that too? Kids. Who are these people? And who raised them? Who raised them? Fuck.
In what the old terminology that we use, two or more people that are involved in abusing a child is called a sex ring. That's what we always called it and still do. Today, you call it human trafficking. So this case ends up, he's arrested for several counts, and Hunter and his office plead him down to one count. Now, the parents of the other kids were outraged, but Hunter tried to calm them down, but saying, look, if we charge them, if we do all 8, it's going to come out to the same sentence. And that was said to kind of keep the parents at bay. But what the parents didn't know about were the handwritten notes by Officer Dutrow. Hunter didn't have to plead him out. He could have went back to Dutrow and interviewed the numerous amount of witnesses that they didn't interview. And you could have hit him with a slew of charges and kept him in prison for a much longer time. But that didn't happen. And that's, for us, where it starts. I'm sure there's cases before 77, but you're going to see a common theme with, like, everybody bashes the police department, and we do too. But the district attorney's office, they're the ones who are really at fault.
I mean, so that can be very true. Look at the situation we've been in. Hold on one second. Sorry. This kid, he's always like 6'7". So silly. Okay. So that I see you, Mama. So how many times has this happened? The police, the police here don't do their job, but it is up to the DA's office to prosecute. And if all of these people, if all of like this ring goes all the way up past law enforcement authority, past all of that, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Patrick, I don't even know. It's a thing. I don't get it. All I know is that my kid will be like, oh, what comes after 66? And I'll be like 6'7", and he'll be like 6'7". I don't even know what it is, but I got him an ornament that says 6'7". So, all right, let's keep going.
And Slusher's when he was initially arrested, you know, the acts that he was accused of being committed at the time, they were atrocious, horrible. But yet you had many people come to his defense. You had professors write letters to the judge. You had lawyers that were not representing him, obviously, but they were writing letters for him to be lenient, if not straight out released.
They wanted him released on bond.
Can you imagine being that fucking dickhead that writes the courts to be lenient on a pedophile? Can you imagine being that dickhead? Who fucking writes them? Jesus Christ.
If you could believe it. This and Slusher did this he did all this by the ripe old age of 24 years old.
Yeah, the statistics will tell us that they usually start at that late teens, early 20s age for this type of behavior, these type of gross actions and crimes. And what we're seeing here is, I think with the Slusher case, I look at that one and I go, well, this is showing me that either these molestation cases, and I don't know the details of some of the crimes that he committed, but the molestation cases, especially in the 70s, they were handled a lot differently back then than they are today. And so that could be a little bit a sign of the times kind of thing. But I think you're right. What we're going to see with some of these cases is either some kind of disconnect where we're not convicting these people to the fullest extent of the law. And why are we not doing that? And what's behind that? So let's move forward, guys, to 84. I believe it was 1984, the Sid Wells case.
I believe it was 1983, Nick.
Okay.
It was the murder of Sid Wells by the person arrested for the murder. His name was Thane Smyka. This is where you're going to hear how Alex Hunter handled. It wasn't just the Ramsey grand jury that he was kind of messing around with. He kind of screwed with the Sid Wells grand jury and made deals. And just to touch on, because we're going to actually get to that, maybe touch on it with this case as well. When you said that in the 70s, they handled cases different. In Boulder, it never changed.
Right.
I was just going to say, how these cases, did it really change how they're handled? Because my man Wayne here in chat one time said that a man had touched 28 children and had a shit ton of charges on him, and he got 18 months in jail for ruining children's lives. Ruining children's innocence and lives. 18 months. Because that's normal. Turtle Boy is asking questions at a soccer game, and he's looking at decades. And these degenerates are getting 18 months for ruining children's lives. So has anything changed? No, not in my eyes.
To the 80s, to the 90s, and after, they were That district attorney's office, that's all they did was make crazy plea bargains in pedophile cases.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll touch on that. But as for Thane Smyka, Sid Wells was, he brought Thane in as a roommate to help pay the rent. Thane was usually late with the rent, which Sid Wells complained about. And Thane was a bit of a drug user, also a drug dealer. And the brother of Sid Wells went camping, came home one day and found his brother shot in the back of the head with a shotgun. So
What?
that's and Thane Smyka isn't there. He had left a note
Make it make sense.
on the table stating that he was elsewhere, wouldn't be back till a certain time. That was his kind of his alibi. Look, it was his shotgun. He left the note on top of the blood.
Hold on.
So he was arrested, but Hunter did something very, very strange. He made a deal. He had a grand jury formed to investigate the case. And it was just, he made a deal that was so strange that the detectives working on the case weren't aware of it. And after it was over, they actually looked into seeing if Alex Hunter committed illegal acts by doing this.
Hold on, Patrick. For some reason, I'm not getting your messages. What the heck? I don't even see where your messages are, babe. I don't have anything from you. Okay.
Worked. Hunter and Smyka's attorneys agreed in writing that the grand jury convened to investigate the case would not indict Smyka. That was the deal Hunter
I better
made
check my
with
devices.
Smyka's attorney. And they also agreed that Smyka's mother and sister would not be called as witnesses. Why? Because Smyka's own mother said he did the murder. So what happens?
So wait a minute. So they're not going to bring up the people that know that he's the one that did this, because that makes sense. Why not have eyewitnesses that know the deal? Why not bring them? Yeah, no, Patrick, honey, I don't have any. It won't even let me message you. Patrick, I'm not going to say your last name. Here it is. I don't know, honey. See if you got that. I just checked DMs. Why? Okay, so essentially, before people are just coming in, we are going over True Crime Garage TV. They have 3 episodes on the unaliving of JonBenet Ramsey. And this is essentially just a different take on what happened to her. Apparently, there is allegedly, Nikki put the link in the chat if you guys want to go and watch the rest of it. And there's other episodes if you want to get into that. We will hear on this show as well. Please go over there and give them a like and subscribe over to them. They actually have really good content. I do like, I kind of skimmed through them before we came up here. So they're essentially saying that Boulder, Colorado is just like a breeding ground for pedophilia. And that the unaliving of JonBenet Ramsey could also be the product of trafficking. Is it? See, I don't leave Massachusetts very, very, very often, Amber. And I always thought that it was like just hoity-toity Aspen, like the rich of the world. But apparently they're deviants. I do what I want. I do what the fuck I want. That's right. Hi, Tar Heel. Good to see you. Oh, and Dave from the Laborers Union. Hi, honey. I didn't realize that. Thank you, honey. First Amendment. Yeah, I'm floored by all of this. Listen, like I said, in Alaska too. I know that Alaska has a lot of indigenous people, and that's just what happens to those people is just absolutely heartbreaking. Yes, girl, because of cases I've looked at very corrupt. Really? Oh, we might have to do a deep dive in Colorado and Alaska. That might have to be a Sunday morning on Unsolved. My Alabama Slammer sister, always a pleasure. I hope you had a good holiday, Mama. All right, let's go back here. Let's keep going. I'm afraid of getting dinged because if I get dinged one more time, we call it Colorado. Stop it! Stop it. That's so good. Oh, I love when people come up with oh God, you can't make this shit up. I mean, if it's true, it's true. Facts and feelings are two different things.
They make that deal, and in exchange, Smika's attorney allows Smika to remain in police custody, even though no charges are formally filed against him. Now, they only have so much time to hold him. Then they release him. He sticks around Boulder for a period of time, and then he disappears. And to this day, they're still looking for him. That's how Alex Hunter handled that case.
Let's push forward and go to the Downsboro case.
Bruce Downsboro was working for the University of Tennessee when he was arrested in 2013. And he was caught up in this worldwide investigation, and it was called Project Spade. And this Project Spade was, they were investigating a Canadian film company called Azov Films. And this Azov Films, they were into child torture pornography. So
what?
Bruce
Oh my
Downsboro
God!
was
Wait,
caught up in this.
Who remembers that movie with Nicolas Cage, 8mm? Do you guys remember that back in the day with snuff films and stuff? That shit, that's legit. That's like I've never seen it. I don't want to see it. Just fucking stay off my algorithm. But that 8mm with Nicolas Cage, that there was a movie of high up people with just money, just all the money, and they hire these sicks to go and take children, and they on camera for deviant reasons. What does Amber have to say? Oh my God, I never seen it, but right, exactly, Amber. We were just saying that exactly. I think that's what happened. It was Summer Wells. I've always thought that. I think that Candace needed a couple $2-3, and that she made some really fucking bad choices. My opinion. I've always thought that, and people in chat seem to think the same thing. Shit's wild. Yeah, it is gross. Who thinks of that? Who's like, you know, I have a couple $2-3 million sitting around. Let me hire someone to go steal a child to do that to them. There are things with true crime and people that make you like question humanity. Of like, listen, people can be mean, they can do whatever, like, but when you start ordering children to snuff them out, I bet they'd only get 18 months. Look at Ghislaine Maxwell. She's walking around the Club Fed with their tea and crumpets. Fuck out of here.
Was arrested, and there was some other people arrested in this. U.S. Senator Lamar Alexander's chief of staff, his name was Jesse Ryan Larskin. He was also arrested, but he wound up committing suicide. There were about 350 people in total that were arrested in this investigation. And then going back to Downsboro, he had about 20,000 images that were on his computer. And this is some of the most brutal stuff.
Ain't that the truth?
The abuse and torture of toddlers.
I agree.
You know, really horrific material. Downsboro, this is where he was arrested in Tennessee, but there's a tie-in that goes back to Boulder, Colorado. You know, and Downsboro was arrested in Boulder, Colorado in 1986.
Jim, I'm sorry if I don't mean to jump over you.
Go ahead.
You know, in the 80s, Bruce Downsboro lived, you know, in Boulder and in the surrounding area, and he worked at the College of Boulder in the grants department.
Oh, that's safe.
Go ahead, Jim. Continue. Sorry about
No,
that.
that's true. Yeah, he lived there, and he was a lawyer,
Mhm.
and he molested 2 boys, and he pleaded guilty to sexual assault on a child and sexual assault in the 3rd degree. Obviously, you know, the common pattern: no jail time is ever given in these cases.
But like, you know, you would think that in like it just as a human, okay, that the one commodity, the one I hate to say commodity, but the one thing in life that you want to protect with every ounce of your being is children. I don't give a shit if it's my child, your child, their child, all children. Okay? All children. And the people that are hurting them the most are getting away with everything. And why? Because they have a couple of dollars. That's why they're getting, and they know people, right? It's all in who you know. And so these degenerates who are literally taking people's lives or literally taking people's, like, I can't imagine living like, okay, say what you want about the Ramsey, but that mother passed away not knowing what happened to her daughter. I truly don't believe that the parents had any idea whether or not he was associated in some way, shape, form to the traffickers because of what he did and who he knew. Fine. Did that put him as a target because he had a beautiful daughter in pageants? Probably. Right? Probably. And then, you know, you want to, and then the people that are trying to help these children, that are trying to put away child predators. Wait, what does this say? Mayo plea deal is common theme in Boulder for essay. I mean, but I don't even think it's just Colorado. I think it's everywhere. There are countries that it's like normal to like have a wife and procreate with your wife, and then you have with little kids for pleasure. That's like a thing. And I don't want to get down that rabbit hole, but I've been down that rabbit hole. We can go down it someday. But there are countries that literally use and abuse children for pleasure and just have like a wife or a husband, well, mainly a wife, for show or to have additional children. That is a thing. And I don't even think these people are even, I don't even think it's about gay. I think it's about power and all of those things that has anything to do with actual sexuality, right? Oh, sorry, my bad. Jesus. All right. Let's keep going.
In the first case, he received a deferment, and in the second case, he received, I think it was 2 years probation. And he also mentioned to Tennessee investigators that he also molested other children as well, but that was never really pursued.
Yeah, his words were he got away with it.
Yeah, he got away with it. That's right. So, and what's interesting about this is John Ramsey's Access Graphics was the subsidiary of Lockheed Martin. And in the 90s, Lockheed Martin was the United States' #1 defense contractor. Going back to 1986, the #1 defense contractor was H.R.B. Singer. And the president of that company in 1986 was George Downsboro, Bruce's father. You're going to see a pattern.
I'm not getting it.
The more we share stories of, you know, you're going to see lawyers, city officials, people of prominence, police caught up in deviant activity. So that's the Downsboro in a nutshell.
And then, I mean, these cases are already very disturbing, but one that really takes the disturbing cake is the Ballard case.
The Ballard case is known to be the most horrific sex abuse case in Colorado history. You had Mike Ballard and Patricia Ballard with their friends, Dennis Dunham and his wife, and they were abusing the Ballard kids. And I believe there was 5 of them.
Seven kids.
Seven kids. And it was torture, sexual abuse, incest, you name it. These kids were going through it. And
oh my God,
they kind of had a system going where they would abuse in one town, and when DHS came, then got wise, they would move to another town and continue the abuse. And they would get
what is that? What does all this remind you of? What does this remind you of? Growing up as an Irish Catholic, I still identify as a Catholic. However, what did the Vatican do? The Vatican literally just scooped up problems, the problem priests, and just kept moving them from parish to parish to parish to parish, and literally ruined little Catholic boys' lives. Ruined. Absolutely fucking. And instead of taking care of the problem and pressing charges the way they should have, Father Gogin, I forget his name. He got all types of hemmed up at Shirley Mack's years ago. I think he was in prison with Aaron Hernandez, the one who killed Odin Floyd, the Patriots player. I think they were in the Shirley Mack's together. He got all types of fucked up in jail. But this is what the Vatican did. They literally took all these problem priests, and instead of addressing the issue of deviance, they just sent them to a new parish to wreak havoc and chaos. And then once it became found out, everyone's like, shh, you don't want to go against the Catholic Church. It's going to really look bad. And then they sent him somewhere else and sent him somewhere else. Spotlight was a great movie, Patrick. Great movie. Actually, Howie Carr was one of the people who outed not only Whitey Bulger, but he was on top of, or Boston Globe was on top of exposing all of the priests. Yeah, and it's sad being a Catholic, having gone to Catholic school most of my life. Do I like that there's no Catholic schools left anymore? Hardly ever. Parishes are going right, left, and sideways. But if they had addressed the issue to begin with, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Maybe they would have weeded out the piece of shit priests, right? I don't know.
Visited, and the kids would have all types of damage to their bodies, cigarette burns, bite marks, but they were never taken out of the home. They were never taken away from them. They were even brought before a judge with a broken limbs, and they were still sent back to the Ballards. So this went on for a period of years. They were eventually arrested in '93 when finally they took the children out of the home and placed them in a foster home. And when they felt comfortable enough, they told the foster parents what was going on. And that's how the arrests were finally made.
Wow.
After the kids disclosed the horrific abuse that they were experiencing at the hands of the Ballards and the Dunnans. But it kind of expands, though. It's not just the Ballards and the Dunnans, because when we received the affidavits for this case, when you read the police reports, it says that the children were being pimped out in the neighborhoods to other adults, neighbors, to everyone. And what's interesting is that there were no other arrests made. It was just strictly the Dunnans and the Ballards. All these other people that approached and questioned, but this never took place.
And some of these other persons were named. It wasn't just a neighbor or somebody from Boulder. Some of these persons were named in the affidavit.
There were no other people named in the affidavit. They said that there were strangers. They said neighbors,
other kids,
other children.
What?
The thing is,
can you imagine the torment that these poor kids went through in their own home? And no one's being named in affidavits. Why? Because they were high up in power and they were afraid. They were afraid to go against the grain and be like, no, this person came over to my house and did horrific things to me, like put cigarette butts out on me, like the degenerate fucking idiots that they are. And if people think that this was a one and done, a one-off, nope. I guarantee you there are more victims. There are more victims. Maybe like our girl JonBenet. Who knows?
The thing is that they just focused on the four, and that was it.
Right.
even though the kids talked about being taken to other places, made to have, brutally raped in front of many adults, other children were there. They, nobody looked into it. This case had the largest task force at the time in Colorado history. You had Longmont, Lafayette, Boulder, social services, mental health. It was this huge task force, but yet they only focused on the 4, and these people were also picture takers. So they took pictures and possibly film. So how they did not look for other people, we can't find it. We can't find any paperwork on the task force, even though it was the largest one in the state's history. We can't find anything. It was the jail sentence that was truly amazing. Just on the incest alone, you could have locked these people up for life.
Right.
You imagine?
Never mind the torture, the pimping out to, the other, having them pimped out to other people. I think Michael Ballard was given 10 years. I think his wife she served 5. What was Dennis Dunn's wife's name, Jim? I forgot that one.
That name escapes me, but she got off scot-free.
Yeah.
This is another so like, hi Juniper Jones, good to see you, honey. This is another thing. So like, why are the women getting a pass? Okay, I have a bigger problem with a woman knowing that this is going on to her children. Not a bigger problem, okay? Because like, I have a huge fucking problem with this guy who only got 10 years for what he did to those children. But like, why is a woman who knows what's going on, they're like, oh, she's abused, oh, she's this. Okay, listen, I know that there are some instances where women cannot get away. I'm not talking about you. There are certain instances where women are scared, they have no other options, whatever. But like, as a mother, if I ever knew someone was hurting my child, I'd pull a misery. I would be in jail. Facts. I would be in jail. 100%. So like, why is this woman getting off scot-free? Can someone riddle me that? Why is this woman getting no jail time for knowing that these kids were being abused?
Yeah, she didn't do a day in jail. And
Didn't
Dennis
do a day in
Dunnan
jail.
got life.
Yeah, and
So
I think Ballard did 8.5.
Yeah, he did 8.5 maybe. So, but Dennis Dunnan got life because, once again, the Boulder County District Attorney's Office pled these people down. This was such a disgusting plea that there were attorneys involved in this case that left the District Attorney's Office. They just didn't leave the District Attorney's Office. They stopped being attorneys because they were so disgusted on what happened. And everybody complained about the pleas. The kids complained about it. Social workers complained about it, but yet they did it anyway.
And Nick, I was able to reach out to somebody that was very close to that case, that knew what was going on in the DA's office at that time, and also was close to the kids as well. And this person relayed to me that this case was a hot potato at the DA's office. Nobody wanted to handle it.
Right.
And this person said that the children were treated in a hostile manner by the DA's office. The kids were very uncomfortable and they were treated poorly. And this person did not understand why they were handling them. They were getting threats, in a sense, like some kids were in the hospital and they were threatening the kids by saying, if you don't come to the DA's office, we're not going to press charges. Stuff like that.
What?
Very bizarre how they handled this case. And eventually my brother and I were able to track down one of the child victims in the case, lived out in the Midwest. I was able to talk with him on the phone briefly because he kind of was caught off guard. But when I mentioned the case to him after his initial shock of kind of being brought back up, he settled down and he said that he had a fear of police officers in this case. I said, well, why do you have a fear of police officers? And he said this, he goes, they were orchestrating the abuse.
Oh, what? Kids, did you hear that? Let me back that up a second.
After his initial shock of kind of being brought back up, he settled down and he said that he had a fear of police officers.
Listen to this.
In this case. I said, well, why do you have a fear of police officers? And he said this, he goes, they were orchestrating the abuse.
I cannot.
That's how he said it to me. And I said, where? He said, Boulder, Longmont.
Hey, honey, good to see you.
And I said, okay. So at one point, I was able, I took a reporter, me and a reporter, I went out from Maine.
Jim, who told us to go out to the Midwest to interview him?
He did.
No. Who told us to do it?
You
you remember?
Ollie
Gray. Ollie Gray. We told Ollie Gray this information about what one of the what the Ballard kid had said to my brother.
Right.
And Ollie was like, you need, because of his health issues at the time, he couldn't travel. So he begged us to do it. He found it to be that important.
Yeah. So
hold on. I have to stop this for fair use. So one of the Ballard kids who's, I'm assuming, I don't know if I caught it. Oh, Patrick, I need to figure I don't know why it's only letting me poke you. I don't know what the fuck's going on with my messenger. Did someone break in? I don't know. Actually, if one of you guys are, yeah, no, I'm writing all the names down, bitch. I'm writing all of them down. All of them. Right here. Can someone message Patrick with my actual telephone number? Because my fucking messenger just is not even working. It's not uploading. Hey, baby. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm writing them all. We're going to have Sunday fun days with all these motherfuckers. Just put all these motherfuckers on blast. I think someone broke in to my messenger. I don't know, Patrick. They don't want us to be friends. Oh, yeah, friends with Patrick. Damn it. If someone's friends with Patrick on Facebook, please send him my actual phone number. Okay. All right. So they're saying that the police are orchestrating all of this abuse, right? So I don't know if I missed this. Was the Ballard dad who ended up getting the 10 years? Hey, baby. It's good to see you, Carla. Thanks for joining us. Was the Ballard dad, was he part of law enforcement, or was he was running for office, correct? So this has like Epstein Gate written all over it. So everyone's just working for everyone and just my wife. I can't. Yeah, exactly. Making. I've sang to her before. I love Mrs. Making. I just like all the kid cases make me so upset. So these kids are getting cigarettes put out on them. They're getting Donovan. You live in Boulder? Stop it. Can you verify that Boulder is just like one big pedophilia just running ground? What is happening? It's so good to see you, Donovan. I hope you're doing well. I saw you in yeah, exactly, Carla. Those poor babies. And no one seems to give a shit but strangers. Do you ever notice that? Like these kids who are getting abused and their innocence taken away, and they're getting all of this horrific stuff. The only people who actually try to advocate for these people are strangers. It's not their family. Their family are serving them up on a silver platter to the more powerful people. Why? Name it. I want a good, valid reason. There isn't. Shocker. It's not only about the abuse, it's all you get in charge. Right. And not for nothing, they're saying that they're bringing in other kids to abuse other kids, right? They do say that, like, if kids that are abused, you know, maybe specifically boys who are abused when they're younger, are more apt to be abusers when they're older. And that makes me really sad. It's a perpetual cycle of abuse, right? It's like you get abused and then you go on to abuse other people. And that's fucking tragic, right? It's tragic. Yes, like, share, and subscribe, kids. Please and thank you.
Once I got out there with the reporter, I had conversations with the Ballard kid, and he said he was going to show, but eventually he backed out.
It got to break the
So it was
cycle. Amen,
kind
Carla.
of a failed trip on the sense that he wouldn't show up to speak further on it. When he mentioned the police orchestrating the abuse, that's what I really wanted to dig deep into. But when you look at the affidavit and you start reading through the police narrative, one of the girls mentions at one of these get-togethers where they're being abused and they're being sexually abused. She said, "Oh, well, I thought we were going to get money for it, but I never received that."
What?
And then she said there was a policeman there, and I told him that I'm being abused here. And it says in the affidavit, when she told this quote unquote policeman that, the policeman and Mike Ballard laughed together. That says that right in the affidavit. I was just reading it today, as a matter of fact.
You know, I've been hearing a lot of stuff about, like, betrayal and all of these, like, things that people spout and whatever, right? All of it's valid. But this, a little girl asking a police officer, or a little boy asking a police officer at the party she's being abused at, said, "I am being abused." And they laughed at her. I need to take I think I need to put my sweatshirt on. I'm getting a little hot. That is like, I don't think I've ever heard anything sadder. More sad in my entire life. This little girl is crying for help. Anybody, please see me. Please see me. I am being abused. And you laugh at her, and it's in an affidavit, and that mother is it in jail? Kids. What the fuck?
Welcome to Boulder County.
That the girl said that she reported it to a policeman who was there, and the policeman and Mike Ballard laughed.
And there's also in the affidavits, police officers go into the home at different times during the day, you know, showing up in uniform. Now, we're not saying that the entire Boulder Police Department was involved, or Longmont, but all it takes is one. And
he just took the words right out of my mouth. All it takes is that one mofo, the one motherfucker who does this shit, and it ruins it for everybody. We all know, all my mass people know this. It takes a couple to ruin it for everybody. It sure does. That's it. That's all you need to look like incompetent degenerates. Point blank. Degenerate.
And these are disturbing allegations that were made, and it's no wonder Ali Gray wanted us to go out there and try to get more information. And unfortunately, the kid didn't, he got nervous and didn't show, but he had said enough to my brother on the phone.
Are great. It's luxury brands and quality. Saves the day every day. Word.
All right, you guys, I just want to stop this for a second. If you guys have not already, please go over and subscribe to True Crime Garage TV. Nikki has put the link for the channel in the chat multiple times. If you guys want to go over and give them a like and subscribe, they have all different kinds of content, but this specifically, this is a 3-part series. We're going over part 1 right now. This is for educational purposes only and research, and just to kind of dive into what may have happened to JonBenet Ramsey, since it's been, you know, years and years and years and years. I think it's been 29 years. And it's still not solved. It's still not solved. It's not. And this is kind of painting a picture of why it may not be. It may not be solved because there's so many powerful individuals. I do remember him, yeah, but there's been a lot of crazy. We have Anthony in Ohio. Hey, baby. Happy holidays. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving, honey. I do remember John Marcar. He was a wackadoodle. He didn't know. He didn't do it. A lot of people, how many people have said that they've done the assassinations of people and they didn't do it? They're just lunatics. They're just unhinged lunatics. Like, why would you? Yeah, he was a weirdo. Thank you, Donovan. Thank you, Donovan. He was a wicked weirdo. Jesus. Yeah, John Marcar. I remember that was in the news for a while. And actually, there is, I said this last week, we didn't get to it because we were going over the post that Natalie sent us from Reddit about that research that the woman did about the toy train tracks. That was interesting. But we do have I think there was a confidential, I forget what it was, I forget what channel it was, but there is something as of 2 months ago where they're kind of re-examining JonBenet Ramsey. You know, I love that people want to keep cases in the spotlight. I want people to continue to talk about JonBenet Ramsey. I don't give a shit what happened to her, who did it. Someone did it, okay? Somebody did it, and they deserve to be in prison. Underneath the prison justice, if you ask me. Okay, whenever it has to do anything to do with kids, you're a piece of shit. Oh, you had to work on Thanksgiving. Oh, at least you got to eat. At least you had to have some turkey or a ham or whatever your family does. Like, I'm in turkey soup like coma last night. Yeah, right. I don't give a shit. Any of these cases. I don't care who did it. I just want to know who did it. And I want you to be where you rightfully belong, is in jail, so that the jail people, so that the inmates can take care of you. Since you want to be a big tough guy and prey on little girls. You know what I'm saying? The defenseless little girls, you're a predator and you deserve to be in prison where inmates can prey on you. My opinion. John Ramsey was one of the most arrogant both of them. They were very unlikable. Both of them are very Donovan, I still think the mother did it. I think, hey, listen, if anything, and little boys, I'm sorry, you're right, Nick Nack, and little boys. I'm using this as an example, but little boys, even worse. Look at all those priests that got shuffled around for bad behavior. Take them out back. Get some street justice. Get out of my face with that. As soon as you start touching children, you're just a maggot. Maggot. Yeah, making snows. All right, guys, let's go back.
If anyone has any tips, they're looking for information in all of the cases that we've just discussed, as well as anything that was going on that was not on the up and up in Boulder in the 1990s and after. And if anybody has information or would like to speak with one of the Zell brothers or both, please use this email address, jbrtips@gmail.com. Once again, that's jbrtips@gmail.com. What we are seeing here time and time again, and what these cases point out, is a flawed history of the town of Boulder and the persons that are supposed to be responsible for investigating horrific crimes. And a lot of the crimes we just talked about, crimes against children. And you're seeing repeatedly failed investigations, failed follow-ups, a failure to convict these individuals to the fullest extent of the law. They are soft on crime in Boulder. and they are soft on crimes against children in Boulder at this time period.
I mean, but let's be real. They're soft on prosecuting crimes of children in general in the entire country. The entire country. Look at the mass judge who gave Adam Montgomery custody of Harmony. Nobody thought something might happen to her. Nobody. There was nobody in the court system that was like, you know what, maybe she's better off with the couple that adopted her brother. Nobody thought that. They served this little girl up on a platter. I always call it Trump. He could be. He definitely could be. Or even if he's not directly, he could be associated with the people that are. And his status and how he moves in the world didn't jive with telling on these people because of the dollar. So he just like turned a blind eye, but it happened to his daughter, right? It happened to his daughter, but was money like a bigger thing for him? Like, did he want money versus than who unalived his own daughter? That's a possibility too. What, baby?
And that's what we call, that's the Boulder syndrome. This is what we're talking about. This repeats over and over for decades throughout the, Alex Hunter's tenure. We've spoken to people, we've spoken to former detectives who worked at the Boulder Police Department, and everybody says the same thing. The plea bargains were out of control. Everybody says it. And one thing we didn't mention with the Ballard case, my brother talked about the judge that the kids were brought before, and the judge refused to take them out of the home. That judge's name was Judge Bellapani. That name may not sound familiar to people who follow the Ramsey case, but he was the judge who was put in charge of the grand jury in the Ramsey case. And during the grand jury process, he recused himself and left the country, went to Egypt.
Hey, from home.
He did this out of nowhere.
Honey. How'd you lose your wrench, baby?
He just came out, I think he sat the grand jurors and then all of a sudden said, I quit. I'm going to Egypt to teach law. So there's the connection between the Ballard case and the Ramsey case with that one.
Well, and to kind of fill in the listeners here a little bit, if anybody's out there shaking their heads going, I don't know, this seems like a lot to believe. Anybody that's read JonBenet Inside the Ramsey Murder Investigation by Steve Thomas, who was the detective and one-time lead on the case, the very beginning of his book, he's a police officer. He's a detective working for Boulder, for the city of Boulder. And he spends the beginning of his book talking about how outrageous and how plea deals were a common theme in the county courts out there in Boulder leading up to the murder of John.
Wait, sorry. I have to pause this. I'm going to do a fair use so I don't get dinged. So this is funny you say this. So I've been going down the Charlie Kirk rabbit hole for weeks. Okay. This is most of what my consumption has been. And I found some interesting things out about other countries that is horrifying, absolutely horrifying. And I came across a live or a video that Megyn Kelly did in response to the Epstein files. And she really pissed me off. Okay. We were kind of, it was in the between like the D4VD investigation and Epstein and they didn't want the Epstein files to come out because why? Because powerful names and people were going to come out with that list and they're going to be documented and they're going to be said on all of these in these documents that all these lawmakers and everything are listed. She had the audacity to say, well, they didn't like children. They liked like preteen. Like it was like a get off scot-free card. Like they don't like little kids. They just like 13-year-olds. Ma'am, you are a mother. Are you all right? Are you all right? I was horrified. And this is the same woman who is, I'm not going to get into that, but they harbor pedophiles in a certain country and there's no extradition. I have fucking questions. I'm questioning all of her decision-making skills based on that comment alone, that these lawmakers, just legal children, yeah, Patrick, exactly, just the legal ones, just the ones that are into puberty. Are you all right? They are still little children, ma'am.
JonBenet.
And I think Stephen Singular, the author who wrote Presumed Guilty, actually, there's a part in the book where he's interviewing Detective Wickman.
Mm-hmm.
And Wickman hints to something and says, I was looking to arrest a city councilman, but I don't have the book in front of me, but to paraphrase, I was told to back down. That's what you're dealing with in Boulder. So when you start building these cases up, is it really any wonder why this case isn't solved? And it gets worse. I mean, the Ballard case is really horrific, but these cases keep on going.
One, for example, is the Jerry Berry case, right? That's a child pornography case.
Jerry Berry, I'm on it.
Jerry Berry. This is one of my favorites.
And he lived relatively close to the Ramseys, correct?
Well, he didn't live really close,
Okay.
but he worked as the
did.
treasurer for First Baptist
It
Church,
was gross.
Okay.
which was pretty much down the block and across the street from St. John's Episcopal, the Ramsey Church,
Mm-hmm.
which is minutes away from the Ramsey home. But Jerry Berry. So he's the treasurer for First Baptist Church. He's arrested, and this was, I want to say, 1999. So First Baptist used to have a program where they helped families that were down on their luck. And a woman shows up with 3 kids, three girls, and of course they're going to help them out. Jerry Berry's going to take a personal interest in them, so he starts to take the kids to his house with the mother's permission. And eventually what happens is that he starts taking pictures of them in different states of undress. Now these girls were, I think, 4, 5, and 7. And strangely enough, they had a brother, and the brother from the town they came from, which escapes me at the moment, the brother was in jail for molesting his sisters.
That's right.
What the fuck? What the fuck? So this guy, Jerry Berry sounds like a great man. He was a pastor, go figure, of a church, and a mother who was down on her luck, probably couldn't feed her children. Nikki, stop it. So Jerry Berry takes an interest in the mom and the little girls who had already been assaulted by their biological family, which is fucking tragic and so damaging, had already been touched. Then the mother comes in and knows this pastor, this godly man who goes up at the pulpit every Sunday and starts spewing off all of this stuff, is taking undressed pictures of her 5-year-old. That is a baby. That is a baby. Why are all these people who go on Sunday that try to be all this like self-righteous, like I'm so great, you should bow down to me, you should do what I say, not as I do, and you're hurting little girls and little kids, and the mom's totally fine with it? Why? Because she was getting what out of it? because that tells me she's getting something out of it. She's sacrificing her children for something. I'd rather be on the street with my kid with a warm blanket than offering my child up sacrificially for something. Get out of me. He was the treasurer of a church. Okay. It was still associated though, right? He was a treasurer, not a pastor. But either way, yeah, still bad. I mean, if you're the treasurer of a church, you are deep in that church. You're balls deep in the church at that point, in my opinion. Took advantage. Yeah, easy targets, right? And like, I try not to judge mothers that are down on their luck, but like there has to be a drawn line in the sand of like what's acceptable. Of like, you know, why don't you go hook, right? Why don't you go sell yourself instead of selling your children? Fucking wackadoodle.
I forgot about
So these girls already went through the ringer with their brother. Now the mother takes them to First Baptist Church. They're going to get help. And Jerry Berry is the one that's going to help them. And he, like I said, he starts taking pictures of them in different states, you know, topless. He shows the pictures to the mother. She's fine with it. So what does that tell you? The mother's okay with what he's doing. And then, you know, the molestation starts in the bathtub. Well, I'm not going to go in. The kids were so young. I'm not really going to go into it.
Right.
Oh,
So then they make an arrest.
breaks my heart.
They arrest him. They take out filmmaking
Nikki, you
equipment
already
from
know.
his house.
Nick.
Cameras. That's how he even got arrested. Was he brought film to be developed?
Yep.
And the person developing the film back in 1999 saw what was on the camera and called the cops, and that's how they arrested him.
Thank God.
So they got him dead to rights. Then we're told he actually has a prior in another state for the same thing. They surmise that he is also a child pornographer.
And that's coming because I wound up getting in touch with one of the officers directly involved in the case itself. And that question I posed directly to the officer. I said, was he involved in child pornography? And they said, yes, we believe he was a child pornographer in the area. That's what he was doing.
For his own use or to sell or trade?
For apparently both personal and to sell, because they brought in the postal service to track where the pornography was going and to who, and that's when the investigation got shut down. Plea bargain.
Do you know? It's funny you say this, making so like not for nothing. Like back in the day, they had no, unless you had your own developing studio, you would have to bring them to like CVS or Walgreens or wherever to get them developed. And so there was a chance that someone could catch it and tell on them. Now it's all digital. It's on your phone. There's AI. There's pedophilia rings. Connie, I went down a rabbit hole about the group on Roblox and Minecraft. That has been ex-nayed from my home. I am not fucking with that anymore. I don't care how many security levels there are to that. Not saying that's happened. Anyone's reached out to my son, but I'm not allowing it to happen. These people have gotten stronger on the internet. And who's going to catch you now? Who catches these people now but vigilantes, right? I watched a documentary on a kid named Ryan Montgomery. I think he's a white hat hacker. He actually does what's called penetration testing. So like a company will hire you to come into their company and find vulnerabilities on the network, and essentially you hack a company's servers and everything in order to see where black hat, I don't know how to, like bad hackers can get in and exploit your systems. So this guy literally did this for a job, and he came across a ring on the internet and tried to go to all the authorities, and they turned him away. No mainstream media would pick up the, yes, absolutely he does. Yep. Actually, this Ryan guy actually helped the poaching predators or something YouTube channel and got all types of information. This guy went rogue and just started being a vigilante. He lost his like corporate job doing the penetration testing because people were like, he's untrustworthy. No, he's the only trustworthy person of them all. He's the only one. And he has gone through Roblox. He has gone to the owner of Roblox, to all of this. And they're like, no, nothing to see here. No, there is something to see here, because there's lawsuits right now of these groups infiltrating Roblox and Minecraft. And there's people literally unaliving themselves. They are forcing little kids to self-unalive. To self-unalive. Little kids. Is tragic. It is so sad. These little kids on this thing just have no idea. They're so naive, and they creep in. And thank God for vigilantes. Thank God for people like him. Thank God. Yeah, I have too. Right. Exactly. And he went to the FBI. He went to all the authorities, and no one wanted to hear him out. And they in Roblox, the owner, the developer of Roblox was essentially like, there's no room for vigilantes in Roblox. Sir, you have a crime ring all up in your servers, and Discord comes up a lot with the Roblox Minecraft situation. A lot. Get the fuck off Roblox, Discord too. Discord is just a breeding ground for predators. Tell me I'm wrong. About 10 predators have been taken off YouTube. Yeah, I believe that. Ryan Montgomery, guys, we'll have to go over one of his interviews one day. He is fascinating. He's my type of nerd. I love him. And he's like, I saw something wrong and I said something. And he's being attacked for it. People are like, don't do that. Don't expose these people. Expose all these motherfuckers. All of them. All of them. Thank God. Nikki, thank God. Thank God. He was canceled. He was literally canceled because he was going rogue and trying to expose all these predators on Roblox going after our children. It's not my child. It's not your child. It's everyone's. They're going after everybody's children. And lawmakers and the government do not care because they're making money off of the shares from Roblox, and they're making money. Money is the driving force that all of these people have. They don't give a shit about us. They don't give a shit about our children. They don't care at all. Thank God for people like this out there interviewing the Ballard boy who was tragically abused. That the authorities didn't care about. Why? Because they were intermixed in the whole thing. Whether directly or indirectly. Get off my soapbox.
Of course.
And the officer I was talking with when I mentioned, what the thoughts were when the plea bargain came down, this officer said, "I literally fell off my chair." It's a quote.
I mean, how could you not be shocked? And that person that worked on that case wound up leaving. I would
That's
too.
right.
She, I think she, went to the West Coast. But another plea bargain.
When you have as the district attorney, you have the photographs, and you've traced and tracked photographs in child pornography that was
good to
sent
see you,
through
my
the U.S.
love.
mail, and yet you're still.
I'm so
There's
sorry.
at that point, there's no reason for a plea bargain.
Oh, Natalie, I'm so sorry, Mama. Let's all say a little prayer for Natalie and her family. I'm really sorry to hear that. We love you. All right. Poor thing. Thank you for popping in, Mama.
You have the evidence to show the jury, look how disgusting this person is.
My love.
The laws that he's breaking, he's not fit to live in our society. He belongs behind bars. You wouldn't find a jury that wouldn't convict that guy. And yet you're letting him get a plea bargain.
Yeah, it gets more interesting once the plea bargain is handed down. Jerry Berry breaks parole.
Well, wait. First, whoa. Before you get to the parole.
Yeah.
To get to Nick's point that he just made, what I think happened is that they didn't want to know who else had the pornography.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they shut the case down, pled the case out, But here's the thing. Now, remember, this is 1999. This isn't 1977. This isn't Slusher times. This is 1999. This is nearly 3 years after the murder of JonBenet Ramsey. You figure you want to make an example out of these people, right?
One with the
You figure
hi,
the town
Cheryl
has
with an
learned
S.
its
I love you,
lesson,
girl.
that they're going to get to be hard on pedophiles.
If you
They
need
plead
anything,
them out
Nat, I'm right down the street.
to house arrest, no jail time, lifetime probation.
So your sentence is to be sent and confined to the place that you were committing a lot of these crimes.
Yeah.
And obviously no contact with children, a lifetime, probation. You can, that's it. You're on the hook now.
This is the thing, though. Like, they're like, oh, it's a lifetime of probation and all this stuff. You can't track these people. How are you supposed to track everybody who's on probation, that they're not around children, that they're not finding mothers to infiltrate their homes and get a hold of their children? Like, I am almost like neurotic about people coming into my home, especially in that situation. Like, there are literally people out there that prey on women like me that are don't have their eyes wide open, that are willing to come in and just to get access to children. Unless you do background checks and unless you're doing all of these things to see who you're working with, you don't know. And oftentimes they find out when it's too late. Am I wrong? Fuck probation. Put them in prison and lock them up for the rest of their lives and throw away that motherfucking key.
You got to watch your steps. So he breaks parole. He breaks it. He breaks the probation. So for sure they send him to jail. No, he doesn't go to jail. Then he breaks the probation a second time.
It's too late.
Now that's the one for sure. They're going to send him to the slammer. Nope, doesn't happen. A third time. Nope, doesn't happen. 4 times it took.
Now it starts to get to the point where, and this is what Ollie Gray always told me about the Ramsey case. He's like, you want to get to the bottom of what happened?
100%, babe.
Figure out
on top. 100%.
Who. That's how this case is going to get solved.
Sorry, I'm just going to talk over this if I don't. On Top makes a good fucking point. They cannot be rehabilitated. They just can't. It's an affliction that they cannot get rid of. It is built into their DNA, whether it's because they were abused as children themselves, or it's because they were born sick, and that's what it is. It's a sickness that there's no pill for, right? There's no pill for this degeneracy. There just isn't. It's not curable. Thank you, baby. It is not curable. These people cannot be helped. And even if it's kind of like a serial killer, right? They can go at bay for a period of time. Until when? Until their desires to do this type of thing, it becomes so great that they have to do it. And they start stalking and they start finding victims and they find vulnerable people. That this is like, and you'd think that like a manual came to them, like, this is how you do it. No. This is just, oh, hey, baby. It is scientifically proven. You are absolutely right, baby. Oh, hi, honey. It's good to see you, Robbie. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Yeah, it just, there's no pill for this. It's going to continue to happen. It may not happen back to back, but I guarantee you kids start at a very young age and it doesn't stop. And unfortunately, it definitely doesn't stop with their own children in their own family. It's not always strangers. That's a fact. And oftentimes when I have researched and I have looked into these type of stories, a lot of times it's not strangers that do it. Keep that in mind.
And you get people to talk, and that's how you do it. He would tell me that almost every time we talked. Why was Jerry Berry in 1999 given, especially
babe,
in a short span after the murder of JonBenet Ramsey, given that kind of treatment? Who was he giving pornography to? Who was he selling to? Was that what they were afraid of? That he knew names? This guy was wealthy. He owned 14.
It's Epstein-esque. Okay. This has Epstein written all over it. And that mofo was definitely all over. And he was definitely doing this stuff back then. Was Epstein involved? Is that in the documents? I have so many questions. Yes, honey. The children are what matter. The children are what matter, and not enough people talk about crimes against children. It's terrible. They're the one thing in this world that are defenseless, naive. They follow adults. They follow their lead. They think because, this mother right here, she was offering up her kids to the treasurer of a church to take pictures. Because why? She needed something. She was using her children to get something that she needed. Do better. Like, do better as humans. Do better as parents, as sisters and brothers and cousins and everything. Like, look after your friends' kids. If you see something, say something. It's a point blank. Stop trusting people. How about that one? Very few people in my life are trustworthy. Okay. Very few. I have a few family members. I have a couple of friends that are ride or die. We got each other, right? But like in general, people are not trustworthy, especially with children. How many guys do you know that women or women for that matter, their kids get weaponized against them? I don't care wherever the case may be, children get weaponized against you or people all the time. It's awful and sad. And the victims are the children. Oh, hey, Bukaki. It's good to see you, honey. I'm happy you're here. All right, let's keep going. I could keep talking, but we're professionals over here.
15 cars, no license though. And he owned a company called Berry Enterprises, which was obviously a front company that nobody could figure out. Even Lou Smith couldn't figure out what that company was doing. We have an idea, but nobody could pin it down and have actual proof of what that company really did. Mm-hmm. So that's the Berry case.
Let's expand on your guys' knowledge. And you did a little look into the background of Alex Hunter, who, as we just discussed, was the person in charge and could have put a lot of these terrible people away for a very, very long time. And maybe, was a little relaxed in that effort. But tell us a little bit more about the background of Alex Hunter, the district attorney.
Oh, I think I said it earlier. He came into office in 1972. I guess he thought he was a real estate mogul back then, because he was into real estate, making a bunch of deals with.
But of course
with his law partner at the time, who was also involved in those land deals, Bill Wise. And the deals went south.
Donovan, I have a question. Since you live in Boulder, is he still in office, like Morrissey? What's his deal? Is he still around? Inquiring minds want to know.
And he was pretty much bankrupted. He owed creditors, I think, he filed for bankruptcy in 74, 28 secured creditors, another dozen unsecured creditors, and I think he owed him $6 million. This is your district attorney.
Damn.
And this is when he first starts. That's the beginning of Alex Hunter. And he initially ran on a hard line against crime when he first started. And the defense attorneys in the area complained that their workload was too much, so they ended it. And that's when the plea bargain train got rolling and never stopped. He's been married 4 times. That's pretty much it for Alex Hunter for his basic background.
A person to be in that position and to be that much in debt is an obvious. It's very easy to go from that to being compromised.
That's a great point. So this is kind of like what we were talking about earlier, where it doesn't matter if these people are directly involved or indirectly involved, because this man was in so much debt that he needed these rich people to come in and help him and back him and all of these things. So it doesn't matter if he's directly involved with the abuse of children. He's indirectly involved and turning a blind eye. That man, shame on you. These are the people we're electing. These are the people that we are electing into office that are not for our best interest. No, they're for their own interest. And the fact that he had millions of dollars in debt and he's in office and he had power and he'll be like, oh, I'll just turn the blind eye for you. Fuck out of here with that. I'd rather be poor. I would rather be poor in debt.
Number one. And then number two here with Alex Hunter, it's
100%.
He's in office till what? Roughly 2000, 2001?
He retired. Yeah, I think he stepped down in 2000. That's a long time to be in office. It's like your own little kingdom.
Yeah.
You know, he spent 28 years in office, and he always ran unopposed. But what brought him down was the Ramsey case.
Well, and you're going to have somebody out there that's going to say,
wait a minute, Donovan, I have a question, babe. Why did Burke Ramsey sue him? That's interesting. Hold on. I want to look. I'm going to look. Give me a second here. What was his name? Alex Hunter? Why did Burke Ramsey sue Alex Hunter? Let's see. It says cold case. Who killed JonBenet Ramsey revisits the murder of JonBenet Ramsey and focuses on the involvement of law enforcement figures, including Alex Hunter. Oh, the Netflix documentary by JonBenet debuted on November 25th of 2024, the month before the 28th anniversary of JonBenet's murder on December 25th, 1996. Alex Hunter was the district attorney of Boulder, Colorado when the investigation into JonBenet's murder took place. Hunter served as DA from 1972 to 2000. That's a long go. I have questions about that just in general. According to the Denver Post, he studied at the University of Colorado and then University of Colorado Law School. His decisions in handling of the case have been subjected to debate, while some criticize his approach and others defend his actions. Well, of course they do. Alex Hunter, the former Boulder County District Attorney, faced media, public, and law enforcement pressure while handling a complex case such as the JonBenet Ramsey murder. Hunter's early reluctance to accuse the Ramsey family defined his tenure. He thought an intruder did it. He disagreed with the Boulder Police Department, which initially suspected the Ramsey family. His case management was criticized at the time. Critics alleged that Alex Hunter may have been too sympathetic to the Ramsey family, delaying important decisions. However, supporters say Hunter's broader perspective was needed for a fair investigation. His actions ultimately shaped public perception of his career and investigation. Interesting. Defamation. Really? Interesting. All right. Let me get rid of this. Get rid of this. Let's keep going.
Hey, but Nick, you know, you're saying he's letting these sickos plea out to shorter sentences, maybe no jail time, but he ran on a platform on being tough on crime. Well, my response to that would be, if that's your argument, look, nobody's ever won an election by announcing that they're going to be soft on crime. So it's just part of the packaging for getting that job, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's part of the political world.
That's right. Now, what I thought was so much fun, I had talked to you guys a handful of times and very much enjoyed our conversations. And then I sat down and I read Stephen Singular's very good book, Presumed Guilty, and I had no clue that this was going to happen. At some point, he starts talking about you guys, and he referred to it as the Zell Brothers probe, the Zell Brothers investigation into the JonBenet Ramsey case. So talk about what it is that you guys set out to do in 1997, and maybe some of the more famous individuals or people that are very close to this case that you met and interacted with along the way.
Well, as I had mentioned earlier, in 1997, so we literally got involved in this case almost from the beginning. I think we started looking into it, Jim, about 3 days after?
Yeah, it was right away.
Yeah, the 29th of 96.
Damn.
And I don't know if you want us to mention how we got going on our, I guess we can mention it, if we can do it quick.
Yeah.
So 1996, we start looking into it, and you know, to us, it just the whole thing looked off. And that's when I called my brother and I said, Jim, you know, maybe we should just take a look around the town, you know, see if this is in our wheelhouse. And it didn't take long, just a couple of days. And my brother will tell you the phone call that set us off on a 27-year journey.
Well, before we get into 27 years, originally you thought you would solve this in how long?
Oh, well, I originally told my brother, I said, Jim, this won't take long, probably a year.
Off the mark.
Missed it by that much.
So these brothers have been researching this case since like day one. Good on them. You know, this is why the internet is like a beautiful place, because we have places like this to sit and discuss it and see what we all come up with. These men have dedicated their life essentially to finding out what happened to JonBenet Ramsey. And what happens is you start uncovering all the things that's wrong with society, right? And then, you know, you may stumble upon what really happened to the child, but then you start unwrapping what horrific people we walk among these people. These are your neighbors. These are the people that are representing you in your towns, in your state, they have been doing this for 29 years at this point. They've dedicated their life. I don't know. I'd say that they're experts. Yeah. See, ATS knows. This is one of the beautiful things about the internet. You can come on here and discuss things and see if you can make sense of the things that don't make sense. The unthinkable things in the world that you're just like, what is really happening? I choose not to be ignorant. I want to know what's going on around me. I want to figure out how people fucking tick and how, like, what makes people do the things that they do. But some things just don't make sense. Some things will never make sense, i.e. abusing children. That's one of them that will never be okay with me. That will never be something that I can like see both sides of. The only thing I can say is that like people who get abused often abuse. Does it happen all the time? No. But does it happen? Yeah. That's the only thing. And you're just like, that's sad that happens. But like everybody has choices. And these are the choices people make. Yes, it's all power and control, politics. And yes, absolutely. And the more you hurt the youngest generation that's up and coming, the more damage you put on them, the more power and control they have in the future, in my opinion. right? So it's like if you damage all of the children to the point where there's no coming back from it, because that definitely does happen. There's abuse that some people just cannot get over, and it damages them in a way that most people can't even fathom. And they flaunt their money and they try to buy children and snuff films and all this kind of stuff because they're sick individuals. They would be sick with or without money, but money helps. Money helps everyone. And that's why indirectly these people turn a blind eye and assist without even probably knowing what they're really assisting in. Do you know what I'm saying? Fucking sick. So gross.
Beautiful. But it wasn't for a lack of trying, right?
Yes, yes. Well,
no.
100%.
So tell us about the phone call.
You're talking about the early days of the internet, right? So where do you really go to get your information about a town? You always go to the library. That was your resource. That's where the history of a town is. It's a town's memory is the library. The people that work at the library know the people of the town. So that's who I called. I called the Boulder Library, and I asked to speak to someone, and they put me on. I don't know if it was the head librarian. It was just a librarian. And I asked her a very simple question. I said, I'm calling in regards to this case of this little girl. I said, is this the first time that's ever happened? Or, I mean, is this usual? What happens here? And, can you give me, what do you think happened? And she said, well, and this is what she said. Things happen to our kids here in Boulder that we don't like to talk about.
Wait,
and then
what? Wait a minute. A woman answered his question with, things happen in Boulder to our kids that we don't like to talk about. Ma'am. Oh yeah, and just so you guys know, we are going over this channel is True Crime Garage TV. They have a 3-part series. This is part 1. We'll be going over part 2 and 3 as well. This is they clearly have been going over the JonBenet Ramsey case. Nikki actually right here, she put the link in the chat if you guys want to go ahead and check out their content in the other parts of this video. These guys are remarkable. Thank you so much for sending this to me, Nikki. Appreciate you. To go over today. She told me how crazy this was, and she did not fucking disappoint. Holy shit.
Said, to be honest with you, I'm a little uncomfortable talking with you on the phone about it. So I'm going to go. And then I said, okay, things happen to our kids here that we don't like to talk about.
That almost sounds like from right out of the novel Stephen King's It, right?
Yeah.
There's something going on here with the kids, and they're getting pulled and vanishing off the streets, but we're so unsettled with everything that we don't even discuss it.
Yeah, so that's when I called my brother. I say, hey, Frank, I think we need to look at this a little further.
Yeah, and then I found a mechanic who didn't go that far, but talked about rumors of things happening to kids.
Hi, Rosie.
And then we were kind of off and running, and we formed our theory of the case probably midway through January 1997, and we called it the sex ring case. And as I said earlier, we do not believe that John and Patsy Ramsey killed their daughter.
Yeah, I don't believe that either.
We believe that they may have been involved in something that led to their daughter being killed, and then for whatever reason helped cover it up.
Okay. So we actually discussed this last week. If you remember, we were going over the Reddit article that Miss Natalie sent us. I don't believe that they had direct hand in the unaliving of their daughter. I don't believe that because, the mother lived vicariously through her. But I do think indirect associations and not knowing the people around you and trusting the wrong people, or always needing to have money, because money is the root of all evil. We all know that. They might not have known, but they knew, right? And that letter that they posted the letter that they wrote out, that 8-page ransom letter with John's bonus number to the dime. Like, you're never going to convince me that they didn't write it. Originally, I thought that they knew that Burke did it and they were trying to cover up because it's like, you already lost one child. I don't want to lose the other. Like, that's almost like somewhat you can wrap your brain around that. Like, parents try to protect one child for hurting another child. Like, because you never know what you would do as a parent, right? But if they're saying that they were associated with the wrong people and bad shit happened and they didn't want other people to find out that they were amongst these horrific deviants, what are you going to do? You're going to save face, right? It's self-preservation. Point blank. That's what this looks like to me, is just self-preservation. And how sad, at your own daughter's cost. God.
That was our theory. And we had certain goals that we wanted to, I shouldn't call them goals. We thought if our theory was going to be correct, that certain things were going to happen. And me and my brother have worked other cases over the years. And when you start to predict the future of the case or things that happen in the case and you're predicting it ahead of time, you're usually on the right track.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, sex ring theory. Were there sex rings in the town? We found that out relatively quickly, that there were sex rings operating in Boulder.
That's so
in the
scary.
Ramsey case, we would have to find someone who would come forward and accuse either John, Patsy, or someone close to them of child sexual abuse. So we started digging.
Right, Amber?
In Boulder. Now, meanwhile, while we're looking for that witness, and we had a plan, or I had a plan for sure, that if we found the witness that would make that claim, at the time I had a place that they could stay. We'd get them out of Boulder. I get them on the East Coast, put them up. That way they'd have no worries. Hire private investigators to investigate their claims, and then get a reporter to write an article on what the private investigators
say it louder,
prove, and hence put pressure
Hi,
on the
Rosie.
Boulder police.
Love you, honey.
That was the goal, to find the witness, and then lo and behold, a witness comes forward, but just not as we thought it would be, which would be locally in Boulder. This witness came from California, and she came forward. She was under therapeutic care. She was, and the therapist she was seeing said, yes, what she's saying is valid, because her claims that she was abused in California, right? What reminded her, when she heard about the JonBenet case, she was like, hey, not only was she abused the way I was abused, but there are players that are involved with her that were involved in my abuse.
Oh man, guys. Oh man, oh man, oh man. I am just absolutely floored about this whole thing. So that was part one. If you guys, I know I've said it, but if you guys have not, go over and subscribe and like the video with True Crime Garage TV. That was part one. We're going to go over part two next Sunday. And I'm going to be looking into those other cases because, oh yeah, you guys, Rosie, my man Standing Stones, right here, he painted this. This is watercolor. Isn't this amazing? He's so talented. And I have another little one that's in my son's room that he had made for my son, which is like awesome. He's so talented, and he's just like the nicest guy. If you guys don't know Rosie, you guys are missing out. Yeah, so oh man, that was a lot to digest. That was a lot to digest. That was a lot to take in. Every day I hear these stories and I stop believing in like the goodness of humanity over and over and over again. But then there's people like us congregating here on a Sunday trying to figure out what happened to that poor little girl. Even if no one else cares, we do. Hayden. So I think she was being abused, but I think it was separate from her murder. Like even something happened at the Christmas party. Yeah, honey. Yes, absolutely. I totally agree. I totally agree. Oh, honey, you know what? I was at Hobby Lobby yesterday, and I forgot what size it was. I was gonna look for it. Yeah, Rozzy's so talented, and he's so good. So talented, like so talented. Yeah, it is horrific. It is horrific. So next week we'll go over part 2, and we will discuss this. We'll go down the rabbit hole of just really bad people in Colorado and around the world, because we'd be lying to ourselves if we think that it's just Colorado. My son's had enough. He's screaming from the other room. Yeah. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna go. We're gonna go paint a manger that. You guys, that's my son. Yeah. I will. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. So yeah, we got a little manger set that we're gonna paint today. And Rozzy, we're gonna paint a little manger set. I'll send you a picture. Thanks. Yeah, Rozzy does. He actually has a website that he puts all of his paintings up on, and yeah, it's like he's gotten a lot better recently. But like, they're always like, Mom, you can he could ignore me for all day, and as soon as I go live, he's like, "Can I have this, Mom?" God, I love him, but Robbie, what does Robbie have to say? Amy, appreciate. Oh, thank you, honey. Yeah, and Rob also. Hey, Rob has a channel that he goes over a lot of the Laura Owen stuff, and he's over in Arizona, if I'm not mistaken, and he goes over things in that part of the world. Oh. Right? You're like, do you do anything? Do you do anything, sir? I get it. All right, guys. I love you all. Thanks for being with me today. I have not watched Sessions 9 yet, but I will, Rozzy. Maybe today when I get a little bit of free time. I hope you guys all have a great day. Do not contact anybody that we've talked about. Go and subscribe to the person that we are reviewing today. That's True Crime Garage TV. Like the video and give them a sub. And we will see you all next week. Thanks for spending your morning with me.